Hey everybody, how you doing? Hopefully the weekend's treating you well. Quick video this weekend to go through some of my favorite setups I'm watching for next week. First, I'll state the obvious here. We have some major indexes coming into some really key levels here. Here's IWM. This is the Russell 2000 Index ETF, and the level here is just under $160. And it's important because back here in January of 18, this acted as resistance. Again, in March, price came into that level, acted as resistance, was finally able to break above it. More recently here, in October and November, as price traded in that level, it was rejected and was sent lower. So now we've had a 25% or so move to the upside from those December lows, and we're trading right back in this level. So it'll be key to see what happens here. SPY, same, this level is pretty obvious to see here. This 280 level, you could see it was resistance all the way back here, February, March, June resistance. What was resistance then became support after it broke above it here in August. But now more recently, you see in October, as price got below that level, it turned back into resistance. So here in October, early November, later November, 3 times it tried. Each time it traded up to that level, price rejected it and it went lower. So now we've had a 20+% move in SPY from those December lows, and we're trading right back into this key level. So maybe we're due for a little pause here, maybe a little consolidation. I'm not sure, but I do know this 280 level is being watched by many, and for good reason. It's been pretty important in the past, so it'll be important to see if this strength continues or this kind of acts as a temporary ceiling. Maybe it breaks above it. Maybe it needs time. Maybe it sends shares going much lower. I'm not sure, but I do know this is an important area to watch next week. So let's look at some charts of some potential long plays. This one's not a potential one. I actually entered this one late last week. This is RCI. It had a breakout above this level 55 or so, which is important. I'll zoom out to the weekly chart here. You can see these highs from late 2017, right around 55. It acted as resistance, came back to it here in December, acted as resistance, kind of consolidated, didn't have the strength to quite push through, but it was hanging right around that level. And finally, last week, it was able to close above that 55-ish level. So I actually got long this one, but I wanted to include in the video. It's still very actionable here with the stop slightly below that yellow box. So that's one I like quite a bit. MOH, this one, really strong uptrend all of last year, kind of just been range bound, consolidating since early last fall. But now we're setting up a potential viable point here for a long. This level recently, about $140, you could see couldn't quite push above it. It's been right there, consolidating very tightly over the last month or two. So if it gets a push above $142, $143, I think this one looks like a nice long trade, again with the stop slightly under that yellow box there. Ericsson Phone Company. This one has this level about 950 or so. You could see acted as the resistance back here in October. Didn't quite make it there in December, but kind of acted as resistance. And now we've had last week price hit that level and paused, and then slight dip. I often talk. It's kind of like a cup and handle pattern. That handle, you have this big level, and then oftentimes preceding the breakout, you have a shallow dip. Price doesn't go down quite as far as it did the other times. Buyers step in a little earlier, and it often indicates that price is finally ready to break out. We got that, and we got the move Friday with a nice 3% gain. So this is one I'm watching to see if it can hold this 950 level and continue to look strong next week. This looks like a good long candidate, in my opinion. HTHT, this level here, about $35. You could see it acted as resistance all these times, going back to last August, and it's been consolidating just underneath it, getting a little bit tighter. So if it can break, above $35.50, $36, this looks like a nice potential long, in my opinion. Merck, this one's just a nice, just a beautiful uptrend since last spring. And now we have this level here, $80, turn resistance back there in December, kind of consolidated right there for a couple days last week. And then Friday was able to pull away from this level. So similar to Ericsson, if this price can hold above $80 and it continues to look strong, I think this looks like a nice potential long trade there with the stop again a little bit under that yellow. VAR, this one has had a really strong move back there in the beginning of January. And for the last few weeks, it's just been kind of doing nothing. It's just kind of been trading really tight. Consolidation here after that strong up move. If it starts moving up out of this consolidation, I'll draw my box here. We'll say, if it can move above 133.50 or so, this looks like a nice potential long trade. Again, with the stop a little bit under that yellow box. First thing I look for in a trade is where's my stop going to be. So right here, it would probably be just under that yellow box or maybe under those lows from last week. This one's traded so tight, so you can still go under those lows and you're not talking about too big of a percentage move. But I like the looks of this. Really tight consolidation. So if and only if it starts moving up from that consolidation, that would trigger a potential long for me. Data. This level here is about $133. You could see it acted as resistance there. Again, here in February, nice move Friday, up about 2%. So if this one can break above, 134.50, 135 or so, that might be enough for me to get in on this one. Again, this is a beautiful uptrend. Oftentimes, some of the best trades are just the simple ones. You enter a strong stock that's in an uptrend and wait for it to break above a key level out of some type of consolidation, and that's a good way to enter a nice long-term uptrend. So we have that potential here with data. A lot of strength out of China. So this is yin. This is a 3x levered ETF. Again, if I was to enter this one, my size would be much smaller due to the leverage. But we have this level here, $23 or so, acted as resistance recently here in December, kind of consolidated right there, almost a cup and handle kind of pattern, hit that. Again, that shallow dip often precedes the breakout. We got that there in February, that shallow dip, and then Friday it pulled away from that 24.75 or so, or 23.75 or so. So if this one continues to look strong, we have an area to trade against. So this is one, if you want to take advantage of that strength in China, you can do it via this 3x leveraged ETF. Again, I would say that if you're going to trade the 3x ETF, that you do size down and be sure to keep an eye on risk, as you should with any trade. But those are a few I'm watching for next week. Hopefully you guys all have a great rest of the weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.